It's actually really, really difficult for people to heal from childhood trauma because therapy is not encouraged in our society. I understand the need to protect children from the coldness of the world, but there's a way you actually let your child have their own personality and also grow up to be their own person. The very first love letter that somebody wrote to me, I showed it to her and she made the environment very conducive for me to be able to talk to her. There's a way you treat a child. They will build a defense mechanism around themselves. They will build a wall around themselves and you cannot penetrate anymore. In a bid to raise proper children, let us understand that there is a thin line between making them and breaking them. Children are very fragile. His parents were able to squash entitlement in his life, so he grew up knowing that he's not entitled to anything from anybody. Now only God fit them. I do want the findings of life. I mean, who doesn't? But I don't want it at all costs. Chimo, we're getting older every day, honey. You can't stress me. Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's the middle of the week again, and you know what time it is. Time for midweek standpoint. Right. So without wasting any single second, let's get straight into the topic of the day. So today we're dissecting the very interesting topic of strict parenting. I'm not a parent yet, but I've noticed that millennial parents, some or most millennial parents, have taken up the gentle parenting approach, and if you ask some of them, they'll tell you it stems from them trying to do better than what their parents did in terms of parenting. When I saw somebody ask this question on social media, I decided that it sounds really interesting and it's something we can talk about, and so I decided to jump on it because the responses to this question are really, really, really interesting. People have different responses to being raised by strict parents. Please let us know your experience down in the comments. Were you raised by strict parents, or are you practicing gentle parenting? What is your situation and what is your experience? So Clayton asked, people that were raised by extremely strict parents, how has that affected you as an adult? Ade's response is, after confrontation, I expect withdrawal of affection and I do same. The second one is, I second guess my decisions. The third one, always bothered on if I'd look out of place when I go out. The fourth one is, if I decide to lie, you can't catch me. The fifth, I am self-sufficient. And the sixth, I revolt badly once my freedom is threatened. Wow. These are very, very strong traits. So this first point is probably something she picked up by the way that her parents reacted to her, or the way that she reacted to the way her parents treated her when she did something bad, and her coping mechanism was probably withdrawal of affection or staying by herself and not wanting to associate with anybody. And then this second one is second guessing my decisions, probably because she never felt good enough. She was never told she ever did the right thing, so probably whatever she did was criticized. There's a big difference between lovingly correcting a child and nudging them towards the right track, towards the right direction. There's a difference between that and just harshly criticizing them. You never do the right thing, this and that, look at this person's child, look at that person's child, comparing them to others, watering down whatever they do, relegating their efforts to the background. I always say this, the formative years of a child will definitely play a huge part in forming the rest of their lives. So they're very delicate years that need to be formed properly so that they don't grow up with childhood trauma. Because this lady now, with all due respect, she has a trace of childhood trauma. All she's trying to do is to cope, protect herself. She has built a wall around herself. She's vulnerable inside. The little girl inside of her is crying out, to be free, but she's trying to protect her at all costs. And then probably when people meet this kind of person, they'll see her as a tough woman, while she's actually looking for somebody that will love her, that will affirm her value. Then we live in a society where it's actually really, really difficult for people to heal from childhood trauma because therapy is not encouraged in our society. I also want to touch on the last point she made because I don't want to dissect each and every one of them. The video will be too long. So the last point she made was, I revolt badly once my freedom is threatened. And it goes without saying, this is a child that was overly, obsessively boxed in. She was probably one of these children who never had freedom to express themselves. Like, they couldn't even associate with people so much. I understand the need to protect children from the coldness of the world, but there's a way you actually let your child have their own personality and also grow up to be their own person. When I was in secondary school, after school, my classmates used to come to my mom's shop, sit down and gist with her, whether I was there or not. And these people were boys because I went to a mixed school. So my mom would gist with them, they would laugh and all of that. Because she knows the kind of value she had instilled in me, and she knew that there was nothing I couldn't tell her. And literally, there was nothing I couldn't tell my mother. The very first love letter that somebody wrote to me, I showed it to her. And she gave me advice. She told me what to do and what not to do. She already brought me up in the ways of the Lord, and she made the environment very conducive for me to be able to talk to her. So the point is, what I take out from this last point that Ade made is that it's good for parents to give their children a conducive environment. Make it conducive for your children to be able to come to you with anything that they might be fighting with, anything that is confronting them. Let them be able to ask you questions about life, about how to do this and how to do that. It's very important. If you become friends with your child will be open to tell you anything. Of course, you also play the part of a parent. When you need to be strict, you'll be strict, but you also let them know that you're doing this because you love them and that you're always there for them. It's really, really important. Miss Martian says, I am permanently rebellious. My only desire is to be completely free and live life on my own terms. That was exactly what I was trying to say just a few seconds ago. There's a way you treat a child. They will build a defense mechanism around themselves. They will build a wall around themselves, and you cannot penetrate anymore. And that's a very scary thing. That should be the horror of any parent, that your child will get to a point where they cannot tell you anything and they want to be permanently rebellious. They want to go against everything that you try to tell them, go against every value that you try to instill in them. Let us just, in a bid to raise proper children, let us understand that there is a thin line between making them and breaking them. Children are very fragile. So yes, you must instill values, but do it with wisdom. Do it with wisdom. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, train up a child in the way he or she should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. Doesn't mean that children will not make mistakes, no. But there's a way that your foundation is solid. No matter how far you stray, you find yourself coming back to where you're supposed to be, retracing your steps. And another thing we should point out here is, you cannot raise a proper child without the help of God. It is not possible, especially in this dispensation. And even since we're talking about our own dispensation, the millennials and all of that, God has to step into the situation. It's advisable, really, really advisable, to involve God in the raising of your children so that you get it right. Pharaoh, Mr. Megzi, says, I know the meaning of respect and I give and expect it. So I guess his parents knew the balance of raising a proper child and avoiding raising a damaged child. Secondly, he said, I know how to handle hearing the word no, and I don't expect everything on a silver platter. Wow. So his parents were able to squash entitlement in his life. So he grew up knowing that he's not entitled to anything from anybody. Now only God you go trust. Now only God fit them, hanjielagi. So, and the third one, I don't give into peer pressure. You can't make me do what I don't want to do. Preach on, brother. I can totally relate to this one. You see this peer pressure thing? Contentment is my middle name. God. It doesn't mean I don't want the fine things of life. I do want the fine things of life. I mean, who doesn't? But I don't want it at all costs. Okay? I want it in a genuine way. And because you're doing something doesn't mean I'll do it. I can give so many instances where people will tell me, oh, Sandra, why don't you do this? Sandra, why don't you do that? If I want to do that thing, I'll do it. But if I don't want to do it, I will not do it. Because everybody is doing it, Sandra will not do it. In fact, most times, I will not do it because people are doing it. Like, I might want to do that thing, but when I notice that everybody is doing it, I will not now want to do it again. I don't like trends. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I totally relate to what Pharaoh is saying here. I wonder why his name is Pharaoh Sha, but that's not why we're here. So I don't give into peer pressure, and you can't make me do what I don't want to do. That's it. It's not stubbornness, so it's just me being content and in my lane. Like, do I want an iPhone 14? Yes. Will I do Yahoo to get iPhone 14? No. Because something better than iPhone 14 will even come, it only gets better with life. So that's just it. So his last point is, I have very strong values and principles. I can also relate to this. Very, very strong values, very, very strong principles. In fact, yes, my parents were strict, but they were not extremely strict. They balanced it out really well. So when I needed to learn, like, they made sure I did. And when I needed to be, pampered, they did the same. So I think I'm a wholesome human being. So Picano responded by saying, I don't feel the need to do a lot of things other people do. I can absolutely relate to what Picano said. See that thing I was actually saying? I don't feel the need to do a lot of things other people do. I can relate. Not a fan of going outside. I can relate. I want to be home at a particular time even though I am not answerable to anyone. Picano, wait though. Picano, are you talking about me? If you want to talk to me directly. I don't like anything impromptu. Hey, Chimo! Being around people makes me anxious. I'll not say outright anxiety, Sha, but I have to be really comfortable to want to be around you for a long time. But for the most part, Sha, I just like to be by myself. I don't know. Then over-explaining as a defense mechanism. Do I over-explain? I used to do this when I was younger, but for now, if I tell you something and you don't want to take it, if I'm telling you the truth and you want me to keep explaining, I'll withdraw. Like, believe whatever you want to, honey, because I can't be stressed. We're getting older every day, honey. You can't stress me. If I'm trying to clarify something and I'm like, oh, this is what happened, and you want me to keep explaining to you, I'm not gonna do that, honey. Like, I'm gonna let you be, okay? Maybe later when you cool off or when you want to actually listen to the truth, then we can have a conversation. It's weird how much I can relate to Picano's first 4 points or 5 points. 4 points, like, she said, I don't feel the need to do a lot of things other people do, and that's so me. I'm not a fan of going outside. We outside. I don't want to be outside. I want to be home at a particular time. Even though I'm not answerable to anyone. That's just me. That is just me. I don't like anything impromptu. I don't like, tell me things beforehand so that I can plan myself. I'll not have to convince myself and give myself a pep talk that, okay, we are going for this, so baby girl. Because if you just call me by 8 a.m. and tell me to come by 10 a.m. For something or more, I don't know how that is going to go, except it involves legitimate ways of making money, because I don't know, I just don't like impromptu stuff. If you're still watching up to this point, thank you so much. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Please don't forget to like this video and also leave a comment about your experiences with the way your parents raised you as a child, or the way that you're raising your children as an adult. Prism says, getting angry easily, keeping things to myself, hate asking for help, I hate silent treatment, always wanting to defend myself. So this defense thing is a common factor in most people's stories from what we've gathered so far. Loud sounds make me uncomfortable. I always want to be left alone. I always want to fix things. I know how to lie. So lie is also, wow. I just choose not to. Oh, okay. I know how to lie. I just choose not to. Okay. So defending yourself and lying, they are attributes of people who are raised by strict parents. Wow. We're learning something. Aren't you learning something? Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Have you liked this video? Have you left a comment? Have you? Please subscribe now. Leave a comment. Like this video. Just thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so yeah, Prism. She made her own points, and wow. I can relate to her third point where she said she hates asking for help because I'm a very independent kind of person and I don't like to be a burden to anybody, and that's why I really prefer to be self-sufficient. I mean, everybody has their tables full, everybody has a full table, so I don't always want to be all up in your face bothering people. So anytime I'm in a position where I really need to ask for help, I hesitate a lot. I have to summon up a lot of courage and then just ask, because I mean, no man is an island. Once or twice, once in a while, you still need the help of somebody, right? I always want to fix things. Then she used a male emoji. So like maybe when she's in a relationship, she wants to fix the man. That's what I'm getting from she using this male emoji here. I know how to lie. I just choose not to. Oh, okay. So I can relate to a few of her points, like hate asking for help, loud sounds make me uncomfortable, but it has nothing to do with being raised by extremely strict parents, because my parents were not, they were strict for sure, but they were not extremely strict. So yeah, Prism, I hope you get all the love you deserve. Okay, I don't have much to say about this point she made here. I think this video is even getting too long. I'm trying to round up. Famani says, I grew to become principled and confident. I don't take people at face value, neither do I. I have to know you, you know. I'm not swayed by peer pressure or the desire to make people like me. So that's definitely an upside to being raised by extremely strict parents. I don't pretend, so whatever I tell you is how I feel at every point in time. Oh, cool. Nice. Very good. I'm self-sufficient. You see that thing, right? You can't bully me. Can I relate to any? I grew up to be principled and confident. Yes, I grew up to be principled. Yes, I'm very principled, but confident. My confidence is not 100%. I'm still working on that. That's me being vulnerable. I have things that try to steal my confidence, which I might speak about in coming videos. I'm not swayed by peer pressure. I already said this. Peer pressure has nothing on me. So yeah, very interesting points. Let's get to the next one. Fraser says, I'm very confident and well-mannered. I hate going out or staying out late. I can relate to that. I'm not comfortable inviting people over to my house. Okay, so what I can say about that, I can sort of relate to this, but if I have a huge space with several rooms, you can come stay in one room. So I love my space a lot, right? So especially because I live in a room right now, just one room. I'm sure it will change when maybe I get to stay in a space with many rooms. And here you can have one room, other rooms can be occupied while I have my own bedroom, and then we can relate in the sitting room or something, just something like that. Other point is I enjoy being alone so much that it's not loneliness. Me too, I actually enjoy being alone so much, and I'm not lonely. Okay, I don't know, I think it's because I'm an only child. I don't think it's because my parents are strict, were strict rather. I think it's just because I'm an only child, so I grew up playing by myself most times with my toys and everything. So yeah, it made me an introvert. I just enjoy being alone, and it's not loneliness at all. Also, I'm always on time for an occasion. Okay, I am not always on time. I'm not always on time. I can't relate to that. Hopefully I'll be able to relate to it in the nearest future, but for right now, I try to be on time, but I'm not 100% always on time. Sometimes I come a few minutes later than scheduled. She also said, I do not succumb to peer pressure and I have amazing friends. Aww. Yeah, I don't succumb to peer pressure. I've said it several times. So you can see that strict parenting is a blessing and a curse for some people, right? But it's looking like the blessing is more than the curse, hopefully. Are you still watching? Please subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, bro. Please help my ministry. We're just having fun here. And don't forget to leave your experiences in the comment section. And she said she has amazing friends. Yeah, few amazing friends. That's all you need in life. Friends who have your back, in front of you and behind your back. That's all you need. Okay, so Chimio says, I like being alone. I cry a lot even when it's not necessary. I have agoraphobia, which is I'm so scared of the public. Then my anxiety is so bad that my heartbeat is faster when I'm in public, because why is everyone staring at me? Yeah, I can actually relate to not wanting to be the center of attention. I don't want people looking. Don't look at me. Act like I'm not there. Like, I don't think it's agoraphobia, or anxiety. Is it anxiety? I don't know. I just don't like people looking at me. Don't notice me. I don't know. Okay. Then I hate going out so much because it's stressful. I also prefer to stay at home. I've said it before over and over again. So yeah, I can relate to some of her points. Just to round this up, my parents were strict, but they were not extremely strict. I am the only child of my parents, and they did a very good job at bringing me up in a way that I should go, and to the point where now that I am a full-fledged woman, like a full-fledged adult, and they're no longer here on earth, I still try to live my life in a way that pleases God and in a way that will make them proud. The only childhood trauma I have is the fact that I didn't have even one single sibling. I wish I did. It would have made a lot of difference. Because I was so lonely, no child to play with. I used to play with my pillows and my toys, and yeah, I had childhood friends, but they lived in their own houses, right? So I'd have really loved to have my own sibling in the same house. But yeah, so everybody who made points in this thread that we just dissected now, I wish you all the love in this life. Wherever it is that hurts, I hope that you find healing, and whatever it is you learned and that formed you as a wholesome adult by having strict parents, thumbs up. Keep it up, develop it, and even become a better version of yourself. And that is it for this week's episode of Midweek Standpoint. I hope that you had as much fun as I did. I hope I made sense in this video. Oh yeah, thank you so much. Please, if you've not subscribed up till now, kindly hit the subscribe button. And if you have not liked this video, give it a thumbs up. It costs nothing. Subscription and likes cost nothing. So give me some love, because love don't cost a thing. Also leave a comment. Tell us how it was for you growing up. And if you're a parent already, let us know what approach you are going with in terms of raising your children. We would love to hear from you. Thank you again. I love you so much, and I see you next week Wednesday when we come again with another topic on Midweek Standpoint. Bye for now.